Hello everyone, this is Neha Tulshan from Crescent Creation. Welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. Today's video is a part of a hop called Christmas in July 2020 and the theme is mass production. I think it's a great time to start creating your holiday and Christmas cards. I always struggle with the time management of creating holiday cards, and this hop could not have come in a better time. I have a positive feeling about it. I think since I started this early, this time I will be on time to finishing my holiday cards. So today I'm creating in total of 8 cards. They're almost the same design with some details here and there a little different. And also I have created 4 cards in portrait style and 4 in landscape style. The reason is I used these dies from Lawn Fawn called Stitched Hillside Backdrop in both portrait and landscape style. I love these dies, especially when creating in bulk. So here I have cut my 8 panels using both the dies with Nina Solo White 80-pound cardstock. And now I'm taking the negative part of these die cuts, which is the sky part, and I'm doing some heat embossing here using Lawn Fawn Snow Cool stamp set. I wanted little snow in the background, and this stamp set was perfect fit for the portrait style cards. So here I'll treat each panel with anti-static powder tool and then stamp them using Versamark clear embossing ink. With these dies, you get a pre-setup of your scene, so you don't have to plan a lot for your scene. Not a lot of die cutting involved. With one pass, you have your sky, your hills, everything ready. Once done inking, I'm going to pour clear embossing powder from WOW on all these panels, and then I'm gonna heat set them using my heat tool. For my landscape panel, I'm going to use Snowy Backdrop stamp set from Lawn Fawn. And I am heat embossing all these panels using Neutral Ultra Shimmer embossing powder from WOW. It's a clear embossing powder with some glitter in it, so it gives a beautiful glittery shine to your embossing. I repeated the process with all the 4 landscape panels too, and then I'll move on to ink blending. You can even use your Misty tool for stamping here. For me, using acrylic blocks were easier today as there was not much of stamp lining needed. Also, I wasn't very concerned about the perfect stamping of these snowy backdrops as I was okay if I did not get a clear image and there was a little less of snow seen in the background. But if you're concerned and want to have a crisp image and would like to stamp twice and thrice to get that crisp image, you can always use Misty. Now that all the panels are heat embossed, let's move on to ink blending. For my ink blending today, I'm using Wilted Violet, Blueprint Sketch and Speckled Egg Distress Oxide inks. Speckled Egg is one of the newest color in Distress line, and I think it's becoming one of my favorite. You will see how beautifully it blends with the Blueprint Sketch here, and it just gives you that nice sky that you are looking for. It's a bluish grayish color, which is actually a perfect color for your winter skies. So here I'm just going between the colors back and forth to get a good blend. But if you are not into ink blending, especially when you are creating cards in bulk, you can use colored cardstocks here. And instead of using clear embossing powders for heat embossing, you can use white embossing powders to create the snow. I'm not showing you ink blending of all the 8 panels, but instead I'm just showing you one of landscape and one of portrait style. For my landscape panel, I started with Blueprint Sketch, blended with the Wilted Violet at the edges, top edges, and then finished off with Speckled Egg at the bottom. But for my portrait style panels, I started with Wilted Violet, then Blueprint Sketch, and then Speckled Egg. It just gives you a little variation in sky for both the portrait and the landscape cards. Now let's add some color to these snowy backdrops itself. I'm using Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink along with my blending brush to add some color to the snowy hills here. I switched to blending brushes here because these brushes give you softer blended ink without harsh lines. Also, I'm using a copy paper to mask off the other parts of the frame to not get ink where I don't want. This is one way you can add color to the snowy hills here. Now I'm going to show you another way, which is actually a faster way to add color to these hills. When creating cards in bulk, you need to look for faster techniques that gives you similar effects. And this next step is actually very fast and gives you almost a similar effect as ink blending. So here I'm using Copic markers. Copic markers are much faster than ink blending, and it almost gives you the similar effects um, as if you have sat and ink blended all these snowy hills. So here I started with B01, adding color to the edges of the snowy hills, then brought that color a little down and tried to blend it with B00. And now I'm using colorless blender to move those colors just a tiny bit. Colorless blender does not help you blend but actually moves the color. So here by using a colorless blender, I'm making the blue color lighter and hence trying to fade it into the white. Here I used copy paper again to mask off the top snowy hill while coloring the lower hill to avoid getting color where I did not want. Here you can see the comparison between the ink blended and Copic colored panels. Left one is the Copic colored panel and right is the ink blended one. And to me the results look almost the same, so I'm going to continue using Copic colors to ink these panels. Also, you can use any alcohol markers here. It does not have to be Copic markers. I just had Copic markers and that's what I chose to use today. Now let's move on to the next step. These backdrop dies from Lawn Fawn also comes with these trees and house dies. So here I have die cut lots of trees in different sizes using Noble Fir cardstock from Lawn Fawn. And I'm adding colors to these trees using my Copic markers to make them look little 3D. I'm using E29 Copic marker to add brown color to the trunks of the trees. I also wanted to add some shading to the trees, so I'm using Blueprint Sketch Distress ink and blending brush to blend some colors on the trees. But I did not like the effect as much, so I switched to Copic markers here. It's not that it's not looking good, it's just that I wasn't very happy with it, so I switched to Copic markers here. So here I'm using YG99 and G28 Copic markers to add some color to my trees, and I really like the effect of this one. And yes, this is more work compared to the ink blending I just showed you before. But I like adding these tiny details to my cards. I'm okay with these repetitive process. And it's just July. We have enough time to finish our projects. But if you are looking for some quick steps, then you can just go ahead and do the ink blending. Or you can just leave the trees just like that. You don't have to add any color to them. The next step that we're gonna do is actually going to add some dimension to these trees, so you can totally skip this step. Now that all the trees are ready, let's move on to coloring the houses first. So here I have die cut the houses. There were two different sizes of houses in both the die sets, and I have die cut these houses using Dolphin cardstock from Lawn Fawn, and I'm adding color to the roofs and windows and doors using Copic markers. I'm using W7 Copic marker for the doors and the roofs. You can always choose to die cut these roofs separately using darker cardstock, but this seemed easy to me, die cutting all of them together with one cardstock and later coming back and coloring using Copic markers. To add color to the windows, I used YR15 Copic marker. Now I wanted to add little bit of shading to the houses too, so I'm using Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink here, and using my blending brush I'm adding some color to all the houses. Again, you can totally skip this step. This is completely optional. It's just I like to add these tiny details to my cards. These small things just makes me happy. Now that these are ready, let's add some snow to these trees and roofs. This is so much fun. I'm using Marvy snow marker here, and of course if you haven't used it for a long time, be careful. It might just overflow on you. and you might just add a lot of snow to the project which you did not want. So yes, I'm gonna add snow to all the trees and roofs of my houses. If you don't know about these markers, you just add some of these ink from the pen onto your project and then heat set it using your heat tool. And here the magic happens. I'm using my heat tool to blow the ink here, and it's gonna puff up and give you snow like effect. It's just magical. So yes, I'm gonna do this to all the trees and the roofs of the houses. Again, you can totally skip this step and use white gel pen to add snow to these trees and roofs of the houses. You will not get as dimensional effect as adding this snow using the snow marker, but it will be quick. So here I added the ink from the marker to few of the trees and then heat set it. So I continued doing that until I finished all the trees and the roofs. Few things you need to take care while using this snow marker is, first, you are supposed to be in a well ventilated area. When you're adding snow to few die cuts, it doesn't matter, but when you have so many die cuts and you have to add snow to each and every piece, you really need a well ventilated area, because when you heat these, it gives you a smell that is not great for you to inhale. Secondly, you need to use your tweezers or something to hold on to the die cuts while heat setting them. Third, you need a heat resistant work surface, as you are using your heat tool directly onto the work surface. You don't want things to burn around you. The Tim Holtz glass media mat and even the water media mat from Waffle Flower both are heat resistant, so you can do this process on either of those surfaces as I'm doing here. And lastly, use gloves. I did not in this video, and later my hands had the marker ink everywhere and it took me quite some time to take them off. So if you don't like inks which stay permanently on your hands for a few hours, you might want to use gloves. Here I'm putting together my houses now. You can do this while you're assembling the cards, but I like to keep everything ready, especially when I'm creating cards in bulk. So everything is ready while I'm assembling the card, and it's easy to put the card together. So here I used some scotch tape at the back of the house and inlaid the door and window die cut pieces. It just fit in there like a puzzle. And now I'm using liquid glue to adhere the roof of the house. And the house is ready. Easy peasy. I continued the same steps until I finished assembling all the houses. Now let's move on to coloring our image. I did not want to add a lot of colored image to this project. I wanted to keep it simple, so I decided on this Santa image from MFT. Here comes Santa stamp set. This stamp set is discontinued from MFT, but I'm going to add few links where you can find this stamp set. So for all the materials used, everything is listed in my description box below. The Copic markers that I used is listed in the screen on the left hand side. So here I'm putting on some music. Go ahead and enjoy the coloring. Once done coloring, I'm gonna fuzzy cut the images off camera. Here I'm stamping the sentiment in the inside of my card. The complete sentiment says, "May your holidays be filled with magic. Merry Christmas." Of which "be filled with magic, Merry Christmas" is stamped inside in all the cards. I'm using Misty to stamp all the sentiments here. I have stamped "be filled with magic" with black VersaFine black onyx ink, and I'm using a red ink that I'm gonna link below for Merry Christmas. Now let's work on assembling the card. I'm using liquid glue to stick the hillside backdrop panels here. I'm first going to adhere all the hillside backdrop panels to the card base and then work on gluing the other elements to the card. Sorry about the bandit there. I keep getting hurt while I cook. I'm a clumsy cook. And with the 11-month running all around, it gets more hard. So here I have just planned how I want all my scenes to look, and I'm just gonna adhere all of these using liquid glue. They're not all the same. I have added more houses to one scene with less trees. In few I have added more trees, but they all have houses and trees and a Santa in them. Also, while gluing the hillside backdrop panel, I did not glue the snowy hills all the way so that I can tuck the houses and the trees under it. So that's what you see me doing here. I'm using Tim Holtz craft pick here to hold up the snowy hills while I tuck in the trees and houses under it. Also, you'll see me using the adhesive eraser now and then. Sometimes liquid glue oozes out, and the erasers just helps remove the extra glue from the card. Now I'm stamping the sentiment, "May your holidays," on the front of the card using VersaFine black onyx ink. And I'm adding 3 dots near the sentiment for the continuation. For finishing touches, I'm adding some white gel pen details. And my card is all done. Since I'm gonna mail these cards to my friends during the holiday season, I'm putting them into the envelopes and keeping them ready. I'm using Gina K Designs envelope from Autumn Rainbow and Winter Rainbow collection. I really liked how the colors coordinated with my cards so well. So that's it for today. I hope you liked my cards, and this will help give you a jump start in making holiday cards. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Your support means a lot to me. Here are a few more videos that you might like to watch. Thank you for visiting. Have a nice day.